What's going on, family? It's Professor J in the house, hitting y'all up with the post power play fantasy football show. Real quick, I'm gonna give you my thoughts about tonight, who our prize winners are for last week going into this week, and then give you your for show sits and your for show starts for tonight. Those are the sensible picks. So let me just lean back real quick so y'all can see what's going on back here. So you got a big game 5 tonight between the Dodgers and the Giants. So who you got? Anyway, we're not going to turn it into baseball just yet. We're going to stick to the fantasy football. So I had to rock the Sean Taylor jersey so y'all can see, because the Washington football team just announced that they're going to retire this number 21. It'll never be worn again. Not sure what took them so long, but we know what the smoke screen is all about. As soon as controversy hits, they try to do a about face or misdirection by doing something that they know the fans will actually love. So salute to Sean Taylor. May he rest in peace, and to his family that are still carrying on his legacy. But man, the timing sure is weird, isn't it, y'all? But anyway, let's stick to the fantasy football. Let me give you everything that you need and what you need to know to get prepared for tonight and for this weekend. So once again, this is the Post Power Play Fantasy Football Show. Of course, you know this is an extension of our Positions on Sports talk show that airs on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Make sure you set it and forget it and tune in each and every night. Don't forget to visit our YouTube channel by the same name, our Facebook page by the same name, and on social media, you can find us by our same name. Definitely on all your podcasting platforms. You can look up the pod that we upload every week from the show. You can get your listening on that way as well. So thank you for tuning in. We truly appreciate you being here. Of course, I'm Professor J, riding solo again, holding it down for the fellas. You know, we all still got day jobs, so we got to make sure we paying the bills. So we need to get these in when we can. So since this is me and Tuesday nights I've been working, now I'm going to shine right now and give you guys everything you need. So we're going to talk about the sensible picks, like I said, the top dog from last week, sleeper, quick hits, quiet storm, and closers for this coming week. And then we will give a short preview of the game tonight. And then we're going to start things off right now with this week's injury report. So you guys already know what happened to Russell Wilson. You know, he has an extension tendon rupture that requires surgery. So, of course, he'll be out for 6 to 8 weeks. That is a tough break because Russ is 100% drafted in fantasy leagues across the country. So that one hurts. Saquon Barkley, another big one. He suffered a severely sprained ankle. That thing on Sunday was swollen if you saw it. So you knew he was going to be done for at least a week or so. So don't expect him to be on the field this Sunday. You got Damian Harris. You know, he was out in the fourth quarter of the last game for New England with a rib injury. Tyreek Hill has a knee injury. He is expected to suit up. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the running back for Kansas City as well. He has a more severe knee injury, and they're looking to see what they're going to do with him. He might end up on the IR, so don't have him in your starting lineup this week for sure. Juju Smith-Schuster has a severely dislocated shoulder, so they're leaning on what to do with him. He may end up on the IR, so definitely make sure you don't start him this week. And then moving forward, you guys that have Edwards-Helaire, Juju Smith-Schuster, and a few other guys, you're going to have to decide what you want to do with them moving forward, because they may not be go-tos for the rest of the season, I'm sad to say. Speaking of a guy that's hard to get on the field, Kenny Galladay, wide receiver for the New York Giants. He's been dealing with a slew of injuries as well. I mean, that Cowboys team has really been decimated the last few weeks by the injuries, because there's also an injury to Daniel Jones, who's in concussion protocol. So don't expect him to really suit up this week unless it's a game time decision. But as of today, it doesn't look like he'll clear the protocol in time for him to play on Sunday. Dalvin Cook has been battling ankle injuries. So you know he's a game time baller. Even with them ankles hurt, if he's on the field, he's going to carry that rock. Minnesota may keep him out again for precautionary reasons. So go ahead and sit him if you have him up in your starting lineup. Just be careful. All right. And then we got A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, both of them still battling hamstring injuries, and they are on snap counts. If they're in snap counts in practice, you better believe they'll be on snap counts in a game. This reminds me of what's happening with Curtis Samuel in Washington. They tried to rush him out there too quickly, and he's right back, on the sideline. So a lot of times you got to let them soft tissue injuries completely heal before you push a player. Now, I get it. You got a lot of money invested in these players, and in fantasy, these players have done wonders for you in the past. But when it has to do with hamstrings, ankles, knees, things of that nature, they linger and they can slow down even the best of the best. All right. So plan your rosters accordingly. So let's get to the honors. So the top dog honor, of course, is the performance from last week. The rest of them are projected for what's going to happen this week. So, of course, y'all know where I'm going with the top dog. There are a couple of choices that rose to the top, the creme de la creme. But you got to go with what you saw last. And that's Lamar Jackson playing video game Madden on the Colts with that unbelievable comeback that he engineered. Sometimes it looks like he's just the only one out there generating the entire offense for the Baltimore Ravens. He might want to play some defense too. But except for those missed kicks, man, they might not be on the winning end this week, but Lamar played phenomenally, and he brought his team back from 16 down for an overtime walk-off touchdown victory. I expect him to do some of the same things against the Chargers this week. They're going to need him because Herbert, and those boys, Eckler, they are just pouring gasoline on fire right now. So those Chargers are one of the best teams in the league. So I really expect that Ravens defense, despite their injuries, to kind of step up. But look for Lamar to do his thing. We might be another top dog candidate for next week. So I'm going to hit you with a sleeper for this week. I'm going to say none other than Jalen Hurts. He's playing against the Bucs tonight, and Jalen is still trying to answer that question whether he is a franchise quarterback. I think even against the Bucs' vaunted defense, because they now have some significant injuries on defense, I think Hurts can take advantage of it. I don't think they can beat the Bucs, but I think Jalen can have a nice 250, couple of touchdown performance with no turnovers tonight to really kind of be your sleeper of the week. Our quick hitter of the week is Stephon Diggs. Hasn't he been a little quiet this year? I know they've been throwing the ball to Knox, and then you got Emmanuel Sanders as well. They really got some other options now, but I look for him to have a really solid game against the Titans. Looking on the other sideline, he can see the other receivers for the Titans are no-goes, are not playing very well due to injuries. Now it's time for him to shine and say, I'm still that dude in Bills Mafia. So I'm looking for him to get some quick hits, over 100 yards receiving, and at least one touchdown. Quiet storm this week is Chase Young. He is about due. He has been showing flashes all season. He's going to be against a Chiefs line that's young, that's being put together, being repaired in many ways. They got a couple of rookies on the line still dealing with certain injuries. I think Chase can really come out and have a 2-sack performance and just have the quarterback hurries going on like no other against the Chiefs. There's something wrong with the Chiefs. They're not quite right. Have you guys watched them play? If you have any players, including Patrick Mahomes, you're kind of looking at them sideways because they're not playing up to those standards that we're used to seeing from the Chiefs. But again, I don't think Washington can beat the Chiefs, even though they're reeling. This would be the perfect trap game for the Chiefs, again, because they have to travel here. I'm rooting for Washington, but I think that something will happen to Washington because it always does, and they won't get it done. But I think Chase will quietly have the game that we need him to, and he can put his name back in people's mouths for the right reasons. And then the closer of the week will be Dak Prescott. They're going up to Foxborough, playing the Patriots. I know Bill will have a game plan for him, just like he had for Tom. Hopefully, he can pray for some rain because that's what slowed Tom down as well. Maybe rain or something can help do that to Dak, but I still see him having a closing type game to really put the vaunted Cowboys over the top once again up in Patriot land. All right, so let's get to the sensible picks. Yes. Can't do it like Sense, but I'm gonna mimic him until he gets back on. So let's look at his for show starts for the week with some explanation. Thank you, Sense. So James Robinson, he's the running back. They're coming in against Miami. Okay, Miami has allowed the second most fantasy points to running back. So, of course, if you have James Robinson, no brainer, put him in there. Joe Burrow, quarterback. All right, they're playing the Detroit Lions this week. So definitely he and his LSU buddy, they're hooking up. No more drops for Chase. Everything is coming the way it needs to, and they're playing Detroit. So enough said there. Go ahead and put your man Joe Burrow in. And if you got Chase, Lamar Chase, you definitely better have him in as well. Brandon Cooks, wide receiver. They're playing Indianapolis this week. Now, I didn't know this, but thank you, Sense. See, we do research around here, y'all. We handle our business. Colts have allowed 10 receiving touchdowns to wideouts this year. That's the most. So Brandon Cooks is a blazer. He can catch. He can tote that rock. Anything you need him to do, he's an all-purpose wide receiver. He's tough as nails. I expect him to shine. And here's my guy, Dawson Knox, tight end. Bills, of course, they're playing Tennessee. And Knox has been Allen's favorite target. Everybody thought Stephon Diggs, right? But I'm thinking Diggs is going to shine this week, even though Knox is as well. Knox has been targeted plenty of times and is a favorite target of Josh Allen. So continue to do your thing, brothers. Play or start the Dallas defense against New England. Diggs is showing out. I mean, when you go up against a quality wide receiver every week in Amari Cooper, and y'all probably saw them going back and forth on Hard Knocks, that is going to make you better. Now, he came from Alabama, so he was already a stud, but on the NFL level, he's reaching a status that many have never seen before. And I'm talking about the NFL, not just Dallas Cowboys. This dude has like 6 or 7 interceptions already at this point of the year. That's crazy. He's on pace to get like 17 to 20 interceptions. Can you imagine if he gets at least one the rest of the season? He'll break all kind of records. But it's not just him. It's that entire defense. Again, Dallas has cranked it up. They've turned the corner like many people have been predicting for years. I hate to say it, but they are actually living up to the hype this year. I'm hoping New England can pull off an upset, but I just don't see it. So go ahead and start Dallas's defense. They can feast on some mac and cheese, right? I like that one too, Sense. All right, so the Nas son sit them downs. So sit Mac Jones, of course. I mean, he's going through some serious growing pains. I mean, if Cam didn't pull a Kyrie and they just not feeding off each other and all the other folks that just don't get it. And we're not going to get into a debate on that. But I do believe that Cam would have this team in a much better position. I think Mac Jones is a deer in headlights. He will be better now. I'm not saying that he won't. Mac Jones will be better. But as far as a rookie being put up against all this smoke, he's just not doing a great job. And I think Cam would have really rose that level because you got to remember, before he got COVID last year, Cam was playing some really good football. And if you haven't had COVID, you don't know how it affects your body. But many people have said you just don't feel the same. In fact, cats probably shouldn't even play a sport or anything strenuous to the body if you're recovering from COVID, because it takes several months to do that. Clearly, pre-COVID Cam was playing a lot better than post-COVID Cam. And he also played well during his limited time during the preseason. But of course, we know the story. But point is, go ahead and sit Mac Jones. Just do yourself a favor. Chase Edmonds, running back. They're playing Cleveland. Cleveland's defense allowed the 5th fewest points to running backs. So I don't need to go any deeper there. And Chase Edmonds to me is kind of up and down anyway. Robbie Anderson, wide receiver. They're playing Minnesota. Okay. DJ Moore is getting the bulk of the looks, And Christian McCaffrey will possibly be suited up again on Sunday. So that'll take some touches away from Robbie Anderson. So the logic there is that he'll probably get pushed down to third option, and we know how that goes sometimes. Ricky Seals-Jones, tight end. Of course, that's the guy that has to step up with Logan Thomas out for Washington at the tight end position. They're playing the Chiefs. Sense believes that KC's defense will rise to the occasion and do a much better job than they've been doing. So we'll see how that pans out. Since this is the only one I have pause on, because Seals-Jones has kind of become the safety valve for Heinicke, and he targets him and looks for him quite a bit. So if he continues that trend this week, he might fare better than some other tight ends. But I think it's a bubble thing about sitting or starting him. But definitely, if you have a better tight end, then of course Ricky Seals-Jones is not on many teams, so you wouldn't be selecting him anyway. So by default, if he isn't drafted on your team, he's on the bench. All right, and definitely sit New England's defense. They'll probably get shredded. I mean, the fact that it's in Foxborough and the mad genius up there can put some defense together based on quarterbacks and the strengths of a team. I don't believe that they're going to run roughshod over New England's defense, but I do expect with all them weapons that Dallas has to be able to have several points of success, which would doom the defense. All right. So now let's get to the fantasy flameout of the week. And of course, that's Josh Gordon. Of course, I wanted to say Gruden, Washington football team, but that has nothing to do with fantasy. We'll talk about them on the normal show. But Josh Gordon just got activated. Everybody talking about him. Maybe he'll do something this past week, right? And then just crickets. I'm not wishing him any, ill will or anything like that. I pray for the brother. I know he's been battling them demons with drug use and stuff like that. I do hope that he can return to be some semblance of the player that he was when he was younger. But so many years were lost because of his drug use and for him being suspended by the league. If he can just be a viable option, then I think that that's good as far as his life. He's not a fantasy player by any stretch of the imagination. So you will not hear us tell you to draft him here. So just giving him the fantasy flame out of the week because all the hype surrounding him. And I know somebody drafted him just because he was coming back because they did it last year. But you saw that he flamed out on it. All right. So let's erase that and move on. So who you got tonight? All right. So this should be a good game tonight. Eagles against the Buccaneers. So, you got Brady, Hurts, Brown, Smith, Ertz, Godwin, Fournette. You got all those boys who are on fantasy teams. Who you think is going to take it? Who you think is going to show up tonight and get you the most points? I wish I had some interaction because you guys can tell me. Quite frankly, I think Brady is going to continue his tear, except for the rainy game in New England. I mean, even with Gronk being out, he still has all those other weapons. It's just a smorgasbord of weapons for him. You can't feel sorry for Tom. So I think he gets it done tonight. The Bucs win. I'm rooting for the Eagles, though. I want Jalen Hurts to have a great game. If an upset happens, I will be extremely happy. I just don't see it. But I think all the players that I named should have decent to pretty good games. Hopefully, Hurts will look for Ertz more than he has in the past. I really think that Ertz still has enough in the tank to really help them pull off an upset like tonight. So you guys enjoyed the game. Thanks for chilling with me for just a few minutes. God bless you, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday night. Interact with us throughout the week on our social media, and we'll be sure to hit you back. Peace.